Modern American Canasta is back, and we've had a lot of new members joining us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. So we wanted to just make sure everybody knows the basic definitions and is ready to enjoy Modern American Canasta. Let's start with Melds. Melds are the building block of the game, a combination of 3 or more cards of either the same number or same picture, which are laid face up on the table. A meld must include at least 2 natural cards, so any card that's not a wild card or a 3, and a maximum of 2 wild cards. So it could be 3 tens or it could be 2 tens and up to 2 wild cards. A canasta is a meld of exactly 7 of the same number or picture card, and a canasta may either include or not include up to 2 wild cards. A canasta can be mixed or pure. A mixed canasta could be, let's say, 5 jacks and 2 wild cards, or 6 jacks and 1 wild card. Suits do not matter in canasta. A pure canasta would be exactly 7 of the same number or picture, so 7 queens, no wild cards. The terms dirty and clean you may see in older books or information, those terms have been replaced by mixed canasta and pure. Special hands are predetermined combinations of exactly 14 cards. We have a chart of recognized special hands and their value in Modern American Canasta, the complete guide available on our website and on Amazon. Your group should review and make sure you agree on which special hands you all recognize and their value before playing. Opening. So the whole point of Canasta is for your team to reach 8,500 points. And in order to do that, there's often several rounds. So each round has a start and a finish. The start of the round after you deal is players are picking and discarding until one player for each team tries to open. And opening, a player must meet the following requirements, and they must meld cards from their hand. The card values in the player's melds must meet a minimum total value, and this is known as the required point count. Each of the melds in their opening meld must have at least 3 cards. At least one of those melds must be what's known as a pure meld, identical cards with no wild cards. So you must have at least, let's say, 3 sixes or 3 tens, one meld of at least 3 cards with no wild cards. The other melds, all of the other melds to get to those points, can have 1 or 2 wild cards, but it must have at least 2 natural cards. There are specific rules regarding sevens and aces, which are discussed in chapters 11 and 12 of our book. Sevens and aces are a key component of canasta. Additionally, alternate ways to open include a splash, which is a pure canasta of 7 identical cards or 7 wild cards, and this has to be from your hand. You can't pick the pack to have a splash. Additionally, another way to open is to have a wild card meld, which meets the required point count, and that is discussed in detail in chapter 10 of our guide. Moving on. So opening is when you start the round by putting cards down and being able to open. Ending the round is also known as going out. So there's several ways the round can end. Either there's no more cards, one of the teams gets a special hand, or one of the players on one of the team goes out. And this is when they satisfy the following conditions. Their team must have at least 2 canastas, so 2 or more canastas. They cannot have any open wild cards, sevens, or pure ace melds on the table. So with wilds, pure aces, and sevens exposed, your team cannot go out until those are closed. So in our book, we have a lot of different rhymes and poems. So the third requirement is a player can meld all of their cards except for the one which is placed face down on the discard pile. And since it's face down and the next player can't pick the pack, the round is ended, that discard could be any card, even a wild card or a 3, because it is not, even if it's a card that normally couldn't be discarded. So since it's the final card face down, it could be any card. Traditionally, players ask their partner if they can go out to end the round. The following rules apply. This must be done before you place any cards on the table or in the tray. A player can only ask their partner one time per round, and the partner is limited to a yes or no answer. They can't give reasoning. They can't say, oh, well, I want to close and get rid of some cards. I want to close some canastas. No, they could only say yes or no. Notes, the team that goes out gets a bonus of 100 points. You calculate your score at the end of each round, and it usually takes several rounds to reach 8,500 points. So just a few notes. If you play online on Real Canasta, they will allow you to ask even after you put some cards down, but they do recognize the rules are you really should be asking before you meld to go out. So that's a great note to discuss with your group online. You know, hey, let's remember once you put cards down, you can't ask to go out. And the other tiny difference is if you keep a 3 in hand and forget to replace it on Real Canasta, they will not let that be your final card. But in person games, if you are ending the round, it doesn't matter what that last discard is since it's face down. Next up is fifth position. When a meld has 5 cards, whether they're natural or mixed, so it could be 3 10s and 2 wild cards, or it could be 5 10s, whatever it is, there's only 2 more cards needed to make that a canasta. If your team has 5 cards down, let's say a 10, and someone discards a 10, you cannot pick the pack even if you have the matching pair. The reason for this is when you pick the pack, you must put down that top card in the matching pair. You must meld it. If you meld 3 cards on top of a meld of 5, you're going to have an 8-card meld. You're going to have a canasta plus 1. A canasta is exactly 7 cards and no more. And you can't just discard that extra card. So a takeaway from this is when the other team has a meld in 5th position, it is a safe discard for you. Oftentimes, depending on where the round is, if it's the beginning of the round, middle of the round, players may not purposely put down a card to make that meld in the 5th position so they can still pick the pack. So if you have 4 10s out and you have a 5th 10, you might hold off on putting that 10 down. But this strategy often changes as the round continues and how many 3s are on the table. There's a lot of other factors, but that's just something to consider. If you were interested in playing Mahjong, we have some exciting news. A virtual series will be led by me and my Mahjong Donna. So Modern American Canasta is me and Donna Miller Small, Canasta Donna. And Donna Kasman and I are going to be doing a Mahjong series virtually. You could learn to play Mahjong. Details are coming soon. You could email modernmahjong@gmail.com to be added to the waitlist. Our book, Modern American Canasta, makes a great gift idea because you could give the gift of family game night to family and friends. So it's available on modernamericancanasta.com and on Amazon. If you've watched all the way to the end of this, thank you for joining us here. We hope that these little videos are helpful and wish you all the cards that you need in hand. Have a great day.